have 6.
You got 6?
Yep.
Okay. Now go ahead and call this meeting to order. If I could ask everybody to please stand for pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Chris Buckman, Brandon Earl,
Here.
Andrea Kreifels,
Here.
Jason Newberry,
Here.
Deanna Garver, Tom Henning,
Here.
Pat Zika.
Okay, next thing on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda presented.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same. Recognition of patrons and staff. Nobody signed up to talk. And the one item on our meeting tonight is the non-resident emergency enrollment policy. Non-resident enrollment policy, sorry. Can't talk tonight.
Last month's meeting, or last week's meeting, I should say, we discussed, or have been discussing the last few meetings on non-resident enrollment policy. Last meeting, the board wanted to go ahead and get the legislative piece accomplished and get that out there. And looking at the dates, if we send it to the paper by this week, has to be in a week ahead of time by the 22nd. It will be published in the paper on the 29th and the 6th, which allows you to have your required hearing on the 11th at the beginning of the next Board of Education meeting. And so that was the purpose for tonight, is timeliness of getting this piece done. And I know the board has been discussing other pieces, including resident students and other pieces, but the board kind of wanted to move towards just getting this piece done so we were legislatively correct by January 1st, and those other things can continue to be in discussion if the board chooses to do so. So that's where we're here this evening. The kind of non-resident enrollment policy that combos kind of what we have traditionally done, along with the new legislative requirements of publishing student capacity and making those applications available, and then conducting a lottery if needed, are all put into the policy now. And that process, obviously the new board, when they take seat next spring, will be a part of doing the first publishing of capacity. So we'll have to have those discussions, and that will need to be done by the April board meeting for a May 1st publishing. So it's kind of a timeline of how that will look with the new board. So any questions on the policy as it's written for publishing?
Okay, so I just have one wording thing
Okay.
that I think may be a 2 instead of an and.
Okay.
It says, each year the capacity of a school district will be, and it's the third bullet under that, based on factors determined by the Board of Education and include, but not be limited to. I wonder if that should be to include.
Yes. Yes, that should be. You're correct. Thank you.
And one more thing I was just reading, students may qualify for exceptions to the enrollment process if and when they are a child who is in the Department of, or in the custody of the Department for Children and Families. Do we need the rest of that qualifier there, and who is living in the home of a non-resident student who transfers to the district? That's kind of wordy and confusing. I wonder if we can just stop it after a child who is in the custody of Children and Family Services.
I think what it is saying is if a non-resident student, and looking out for those students that are in potentially a DCF placement, if there is a non-resident student who transfers to the district and they have then someone that is placed in that home as a DCF, then that person would also come. That's the way I'm reading it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just wonder if, if it needs to say that, if it just doesn't need to say, the exception applies if you're in the custody of a DCF,
Oh, in general?
and just overall.
Well, if they were in custody of DCF and they were not living with a non-resident student, then they would be going to the other school districts. So this would only be if a non-resident student applied, became unless I'm reading it wrong, but a non-resident student becomes one of our students and gets accepted through the lottery, whatever, and then someone gets placed in their home that's DCF, then they could also come too, instead of having to go to whatever, because they're a non-resident student, instead of having to go to their resident school district.
Okay.
So that would be accepted.
I think it's trying to protect the district from getting
Yeah.
outside DCF.
Yeah.
Islands.
So that would be my only worry about taking that out.
Okay.
Would be that piece. That's how I'm taking it anyway. That's how I read it the first time.
Any other questions on it?
Does that make sense, Russ? The wording we put
Yeah.
together? Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the non-resident enrollment policy, provided with that one correction that you had.
And a 2. Yep. We'll get that corrected.
I would second that.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same. Okay.
Thank you. We will get that to them very quickly. We'll get it published.
I think that's it on the agenda, so we are adjourned. Thanks everybody for taking time to do that.
Yep, especially Thanksgiving week. I appreciate it.
The time was kind of crucial.
No problem.
How many lines did you add since last week?
How many do we add last year? I don't know, I don't remember.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
I was just thinking if you switched to LEDs and then added 14,000 more, you're probably at a net